Sometimes we spend a little bit too much time focusing on the root and focusing on the soil, how wet it is, how deep the roots go, and not enough on actually growing the thing, whether you're growing yourself, growing your YouTube, growing your business, expanding your career, expanding your knowledge on certain things. After you have planted those roots, after you have made sure that your soil is wet enough and viable enough for something to grow, that's when it's time to make your move. Once you feel suffocated, you've expanded, you done got too big for the small environment. You know, like how when you have to repot your plants because they've gotten too big for the pot, if you don't repot them, they die. If you don't repot them, they don't grow anymore. And the same thing is for you. You have to repot yourself. Repot yourself where you're going to grow. Repot yourself where you're going to flourish and where you're going to feel fulfilled. And I'm saying all of this because that's a phase that I'm currently in. I left my apartment, I quit my job, and I'm staying at my friend's empty house. Thankfully, he has been so generous to let me stay here until I figure things out. I know what I'm going to do. So by the end of this video, you'll know what it is that I'm going to be doing. But I didn't even say hey. Hey y'all, welcome back to Dose of Destiny. If you're new, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, like this video, leave me a comment if any of this resonates with you, or if there's anything that you want to add to the video that I didn't say that you feel like might be helpful for somebody else and for their roots to grow. I wanted to make this video because there has been a lot that's been happening in my life, and a lot of stretching, a lot of repotting, if you will, for me. And to take something out of its soil and it doesn't know where it's going, it doesn't know how the soil and how the bigger pot is going to feel, it's uncomfortable. You get stretched real thin, you get tested, you get frustrated, you start to feel like everything that you're doing is not working, everything that you're doing is not worth it. But at the end of the day, all of that stuff is a test. All of that stuff is a test of faith, a test of your commitment to the thing that you said you want to grow, whether that's you, your business, your YouTube, your, I don't know, whatever it is that y'all out here growing nowadays. It's all a test of your commitment to those things. If it was that easy, everybody would have everything that they say they want. But just like school, just like video games, if you want to get to the next level, you have to put in the work. If you go to school and you get into a program, that's the test of you actually going through. Oh my God, I think that's a worm. But it was like tumbling in a circle. Nature is crazy. It's fire ants out here. Hopefully they ain't trying to take a bite of my chocolate, honey. Okay, let me hurry up and make this video. Just like when you're in school or you're playing a video game, if you just drive around, because I know when I used to play Grand Theft Auto, I just used to drive around in the city, never completing missions, always stayed stuck on that same level. If you never complete the missions, you don't unlock new parts of the city. You don't unlock new things that you can do on the game because you've stayed stagnant, you stayed stuck. Same thing if you go to school and there's a program that you're in, each level that you complete and you do well in, you move to the next level, and then you just keep moving up and you keep moving up until you graduate, until you complete the program. But that's a test of your commitment. Grand Theft Auto, if you complete the missions and you complete the game, you beat the game, that's a test of your commitment to leveling up. If you don't want to level up, by all means, stay in the same small pot that you were born in. Thrive there, if that's what you want to do. But if it's not, if you're unfulfilled, if you're unhappy, you have to have the courage to repot yourself. And it's scary. It's a lot. It's not easy at all. It's not easy, and I will never say that it is. there's so many things that go through your head during this repotting. Is the pot going to be too big? But if it is too big, now you know what you can tolerate. You know how when parents used to buy you clothes when you were younger and they were too big? Well, it's okay. They'll grow into it. Even if your pot is too big, you'll grow into it. If God did not feel like you were meant to do the thing, if you were not meant to be in this place, if you were not meant to accomplish whatever it is that you've accomplished or on the road to accomplish, you wouldn't have the desire for it, for one. And if you did think you had the desire for it, once the going got tough, you would quit, because you know that that's not what you want to do. If God made it so easy that everybody had everything that they wanted without the work, then everybody would have everything that they want, but nothing would last because you're not passionate about it. So find what you're passionate about, even through all of the things that, it's getting hot, even through all of the things that you feel like is not for you, possibly. That's how you find your passion. Repotting yourself constantly. Okay, let me try this pot. This one don't feel good. Okay, let me try this pot. I think I'm getting closer. This feels okay, but maybe I need to tweak it a little bit. You just keep repotting yourself until you figure out where it is that you're supposed to be. Growth is uncomfortable. But I tell you one thing, every time somebody come to me and they ask me, what is it that you did, or how do I find my purpose? How do I figure out what it is that I'm supposed to do? How do I hear God's voice? How do I know it's God and not just me telling myself these things? Well, the internal nudge that you get, the voice that makes you the most uncomfortable, that's God. That's God holding you accountable. That's God telling you to move. That's God telling you to stay. That's God telling you yes. That's God telling you no. All of the things that make you feel uncomfortable, uneasy, that's God. Everything that makes you feel good and easygoing, like, okay, yep, I can just forget about it, that's your ego. That's you talking to yourself. So that's how I be knowing if it's God telling me or if it's just myself telling me. Because myself told me, I'll be fine. I can just stay at my job. I can just stay in my apartment. I can just keep doing this life. I love my life. And while that's true, I was also unfulfilled in my life. So I had to be real with myself and say, okay, I can either do this for another year or how many ever years, or I can listen to this internal nudge that I have that's making me feel very uncomfortable. I can listen to that nudge and see where it takes me. And I'm like micromanaging this fire ant right now because bye. Like, dang, let me have a look. They got all this space over here and they want to be crawling over here. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that poor worm over there done died in the heat. But anyway, you can either listen to that internal nudge that's telling you to move or telling you to stay, or you can listen to yourself that's telling you to move prematurely when, yeah, things would work out, but you're gonna suffer because you moved without consulting God. You moved prematurely. So yeah, it might work, but you're gonna suffer. Or you can stay and listen. And I'm about to tell y'all a story on how I was gonna move prematurely and I was gonna suffer. Now that I look back. So last year, I was gonna stay put. And I knew that that's what I was supposed to do. And so then someone got in my head, oh, I can never pay over this amount in rent. Oh, I can never do this. Oh, I can never. And then so I put in my notice to vacate last year. And then I was like, oh my gosh, she's right. Like, what am I doing? Who do I think I am? Like, I probably can't afford this. Like, what am I doing? Although I knew I could, and I did afford it. You know what I'm saying? And let that person get in my head, and I wasn't listening to myself. I was fixing to repot too soon. I haven't grown enough to be repotted. Put in my notice to vacate. Then like 2 days later, I was like, you know what? Never mind. I'm gonna stay. My apartment had got rented. And I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? But then she was like, well, there's an apartment right across the hall that's gonna be open around the time that you're supposed to be moving. You can just move to that one. And I was like, wow. And honestly, I didn't think of it that way then, but I'm noticing how things are playing out now. Because last year I was sure that I was gonna stay, but this year I was sure that I wasn't gonna stay. So let's rewind a little bit. All I had to do was move across the hall when I was going to possibly be moving somewhere that was gonna put me out of a lot of money and not have as good of a deal and as prime a location as I did in my last apartment. My apartment was in a very prime location for the price, and I loved it so much. And I was like, you know what? I'm so comfortable here. And then that's when I was like, uh-oh, here we go. Now I'm about to be stretched out. But when I went to New York, that's when I was like, wow, the world is so much bigger than where I'm at. And I want to see what else is out here. And that's when I made the decision that I was going to not renew my lease, and I was going to do this thing that I said I wanted to do. Through those months, the next 6 or 7 months, I was aligning really hard in the gym, really hard in my word, really going really hard with God, getting closer to God, making sure that I can hear Him whenever He's speaking to me, and making the moves. Whenever He told me to move, I moved. I was dragging my feet on, you know it's hot when you start hearing them things screaming. They screaming because it's too dang on hot out here. But I knew it was time to move. I'm sweating. But I knew it was time to move because God kept saying, put in your notice to vacate. Put in your notice to vacate. Put in your notice to vacate. And it literally was such a loud feeling. And I was avoiding it so bad because I was like, what am I going to do if I put in my notice to vacate? Like, I don't want to just move to another apartment because that's stupid. And so I was like, well, okay, whatever. I'm going to put in my notice to vacate. I don't know what God has for me. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I had an idea, but I wasn't 100% sold on it. So I started writing down in my book that I wanted to travel. And so God rearranged my whole entire life so that I could do just that. And although things have not worked out in the timing that I wanted them to work out, they're working out in the timing that God wants me to be in these certain places. And I hope that this is all making sense because I feel like I've kind of sidetracked a little bit. But when I stayed put last year, I had the time to prepare mentally, physically, emotionally for this change. And now that the change is here, and I've been stretched because in the last couple of months, I've been really stressed out, not knowing where I was going to live. I didn't know where I was going to live up until a week before I moved because I was too afraid to ask my friend, could I stay here? When he's like literally the most selfless person ever, I was too afraid to ask him, could I just stay here for a couple of weeks until this thing came through? And he said yes with no hesitation. But then, y'all, there's still so much I didn't even say. So after I put in my notice to vacate, I was just waiting, and I put in for to do travel nursing because I'm an RMA, and I can do travel with that. And so I put in, wasn't getting no contact, wasn't getting no callbacks, kept calling, trying to see if I could get a recruiter. No one was hitting me back. So then I was like, you know what? Maybe this is not what God wants me to do, but I've already put in my notice to vacate. Okay, maybe I'm supposed to just stay here for another year, stack my money a little bit more, and then move. I was accepting it. I was like, okay. Because it was like me trying to figure out who this voice was, what this voice was telling me and actually listening to the voice that was talking to me. So then I started applying to apartments. Well, I was looking at apartments, and it was this one apartment specifically that was in a prime location, amazing price because I had a deal going on, but they were giving me the runaround, something crazy. So as I was about to go apply, I applied, and then I realized, oh my gosh, I need to get up and go to work. Y'all, I ran out of darn storage, and I really don't know what I've said or haven't said, and I had to get out of that sun. Oh my God, I couldn't even fucking think. So that night when I was at work, it slipped my mind to finish the applications because I ended up doing a puzzle with my coworker. The next afternoon when I got up for work, went to apply, the apartment was gone. So I was like, well, it hadn't even been 24 hours. I'm thinking I'm the only one looking at this apartment. And then she was like, well, it's another one right beside it. Went to go get that one. That one was gone too. I'm like, wow. Within a matter of minutes, both of these apartments are no longer on the market. She said, oh, well, if whatever reason they don't get approved, then I'll call you. But never got a call. So I'm guessing they got approved. When I went to work the next night, I thought I was going to be back on the floor where I could finish the puzzle, because it was like a 1,000-piece puzzle, and wasn't back on that floor. So had to be on a more difficult floor, and I just really wasn't thrilled about it because, you know, sometimes you just need a break from those types of floors. But then the next morning, one of my coworkers walked in, never noticed her wearing the sweatshirt before, but she had on the sweatshirt of the traveling company that I'm trying to go through. I never noticed like the sweatshirt that she be having on. So I looked at her, and then something told me to look again. And so I looked, and I was like, girl, were you employed by them? She was like, yeah, I was with them for however long. And she was like, you want my recruiter? And I was like, don't mind if I do. So she gave me her recruiter, and this was after I had complained to my family a few days before. I was like, I'm so tired. I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of, you know, like, I feel like God taking too long. I think he need to put on some tennis shoes, strap them bitches up a little bit tighter, and run, you know, put them sandals in sports mode, because I don't know if, you know, the ancestors and all them people on the other realm, in the spiritual realm, know this, but on earth we got deadlines. And we can't just be moving all willy-nilly. I was just kidding, of course. You know, had to throw a little bit of humor in the chaos. After I said that and was expressing that, that same week is when I got the recruiter. So after I got the recruiter, that's when things started to look up for me a little bit. I started to feel a little less stressed, and everything after that, after I made the choice, was easy. After I made the choice to have faith, after I made the choice to honor what it was that I wanted, to honor my emotions, because I didn't feel fulfilled. I didn't feel like I was growing. I felt like I had put a cap on my growth here, and I felt like I needed to be repotted. So once I made that choice, and once I stood on that, no, everything did not move super fast, but it did move. It started moving in divine timing. I look like I got lip fillers, but these are my natural lips. It started moving in divine timing, and everything started aligning how it was supposed to align. And ideally, I was wanting to be moving from my apartment and moving to wherever it was that I was going, but that didn't happen that way. But God made a way for me to have housing. Like, come on, how many friends do you have that just have empty houses? You know what I'm saying? Although I could have went home to my mom's, that wasn't ideal, because I don't really feel like there's space there for me. But there was space, more than enough space here for me. And then once I moved here, 2 days later, I got an assignment. And I'm not going to tell y'all where the assignment is until I move there. But yeah, I had multiple assignments that fell through, multiple jobs that I had applied to before I got a recruiter, because I knew I had already made the choice that I wanted to move. I had already made the choice that I did not want to stay here anymore. And so I was applying to jobs in New York. I was applying to jobs in Texas, California, Atlanta, everywhere. Florida, everywhere. Had interviews everywhere. Everywhere. But no one wanted to hire me. Either my start date was too far out, or I was too far. And I feel like I might have been like a liability. Like, oh, she comes up here and she hates it, gets homesick, want to go home, then we're going to be back at square one. Which, I get it. I understand. But, y'all, the way that this whole thing has happened, how God has literally redirected me, all the rejection, all the heartache, all the chaos that I was going through, all the uncertainty that I was going through, all to end up exactly where I'm supposed to be. And this is a random place where I'm going. I mean, it's a happening place, but it's random. Not a place where I would have picked first, but throughout this whole process, I was like, God, I just want to be where you want me to be. And that's it. Like, if it's not New York, because that was my first choice, New York. But they all wanted you to have the COVID vaccine, and I ain't with that. I had other places in mind, but those places just was like giving me the runaround in travel. And I was like, okay, well, whatever you have, wherever you want me to be first, wherever you feel like I would land safely first, I'm okay with that. With all that being said, you have to choose. You have to make the choice. And once you make the choice that you want to change your life, that you want to shift your reality, once you decide that you feel unfulfilled, once you decide that what is happening right now in your life is no longer working for you, once you decide that you're ready to be repotted, God is going to move mountains for you. And it may take a little bit to move those mountains over a little bit to where you can fit through, but let me tell you, those mountains will move. They will move in divine timing. When it's time for you to finally walk through, they will move. And it took a while for me to, well, the fact that I was being stretched thin, like a piece of like bubble gum or something, or a piece of plastic, I was being stretched to the point where I couldn't stretch no more, and I was finna tear into pieces. Okay, full on crash outs at least once a week. But that's the beauty of the process. It's the crash outs. It's the when your faith is being tested, your faith is being shaken. But also, y'all, on the other side of everything, I just can't believe I manifested this. I mean, I always manifest things, but this is really big for me. Like, this is a big manifestation, and I just feel like, wow, I can't believe that I manifested this. I can't believe that this is for me. I can't believe that I actually put in the work. It's like a drawing when you've been drawing for days, weeks, months, or however long, and you finally see the finished product after so many tweaks, so many erase marks, so many different things that happen along the process, and you finally see the finished product, and you're like, wow, I did this. It feels rewarding, it feels fulfilling, and I'm so ready to be repotted, and I'm so ready for everything that is meant for me, everything that I've been longing for to finally start making its way into my life. I'm not saying that it's going to happen as soon as I move. Maybe it will. But I'm making the decision, the conscious choice to live a life that is fulfilling. And God is 100% behind me. And that's what it means to be a chosen one. Chosen ones don't just sit there and let God do all the work. We put in the work as well. And we're the ones who are out here actually spreading the gospel of all the good that God can do. So, yeah, you might think you're a chosen one. And it's nothing to be like, oh, I'm above people or anything like that. Most chosen ones don't even know that they're chosen. Many are chosen. Many are called, but only few are chosen. So you may have been called, but you may have not been chosen, my love. Like, just because you're spiritual and you claim to be spiritual does not mean that you're one of the ones that's supposed to be out here doing the Lord's work. There has to be a balance. So I just wanted to throw that out there. But this video is definitely for the chosen ones, for the ones who are out here doing the Lord's work, who are out here going against the grain, for the ones who are actually putting in the work, not the ones who just say that they are. I hope that you guys found something that you could resonate with from this video. I have a vlog coming up, my moving vlog, of all the things that moved me during my moving process and all of my feelings about everything. And I can't wait for y'all to see that because it's kind of powerful, actually. And also, don't forget to like this video if you feel like it resonated with you. Subscribe to the channel, because why aren't you subscribed yet? It's kind of weird that you're watching me every time I post a video, but you haven't subscribed. Like, it's getting weird, okay? But come on and join the the community, and share this video with a friend who is currently repotting their life. And yeah, I hope that you guys have the most amazing week ever, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.